As someone who's married, in medical school, hosts a podcast, runs this YouTube channel, one of the most common questions I get is how I manage my time. Being able to successfully manage your time does two key things for you. First, it allows you to successfully accomplish what you need to do, and second, it frees up a lot of time to do what you want to do. In medical school, I may have lectures that I'm going to throughout the day, research that I'm working on the side, shadowing physicians in the OR or the clinic, and that's not even to mention all of the studying. Now, I had far less responsibilities in undergrad, but I am a far better student now than I was then. And the difference boils down to one thing: time management. What's up, YouTube? If you're new here, my name is J.R. Smith. I'm a first-year medical student at the Mayo Clinic, and I make videos where I share tips, strategies, and resources for pre-med and medical students. So when I started medical school, I simultaneously started this YouTube channel. Fast forward a couple months, and I started the Future Leaders of Healthcare podcast. And just a week ago, we finished the first session of a course I'm running for students applying to medical school. These are things that I enjoy doing, and unfortunately, a lot of pre-medical students and even medical students believe that you have to give up these type of things when you start medical school. But again, the better you are at managing your time, the more time you'll have for the things that you want to do, whether it's medicine related or not. Managing your time relies on routine. The more efficient and effective your routine, the better you will be at managing your time. My routine starts at 5 a.m. every day, and before you guys call me a hardo or a gunner, just know I still get my 7 hours of sleep. I just start and end my day early, and this is why. I have made it a point of emphasis to get my least enjoyable work done before the day starts. Again, we have things in the day that we want to do, but we also have things in the day that we have to do. If we put that on a spectrum, I start my day on the far end doing things that I don't want to do but have to do. That way, as the day progresses, the things that I'm doing begins to move more and more towards the things that I want to do. In my case, every day starts with the majority of studying that I'm going to be doing for that day. And if you've been following this channel, you know that that comes in the form of Anki. A study examining the habits of successful medical students reported that high-achieving medical students spend roughly 6 to 8 hours a day studying. This seems intense, but now it may make sense why I choose to start my day at 5 in the morning. About 80% of my studying is actually review, and the other 20% is learning the new material that's being presented to us that day. So by starting at 5 in the morning, I can essentially get all of my review done before the day even starts. The rest of the morning, I have lectures or small group activities, and this makes up the majority of the time spent learning that new material. And on most days, by noon, I've already studied 6 to 7 hours, which frees up my afternoon for the things that I want to do. Now, I do have to emphasize that I love learning medicine. Studying is far from the bane of my existence. If that were the case, I would not be in medical school at all. But after doing anything for 6 to 8 hours, it is nice to switch things up. And by starting early in the morning, I find that I can actually pursue my non-study related interests without feeling guilty. And it's actually the fact that I spend the majority of the afternoon filling my cup and re-energizing myself that I'm able to work as hard as I do each morning. And because I enjoy things like making these YouTube videos or podcasts, they re-energize me. And once I spend a couple hours pursuing my non-academic interests, it's only 3 to 4 p.m. and I've filled my tank enough that I can actually spend a couple hours in the afternoon studying and preparing for the next day. Managing your time is a balance of filling your cup or doing those things that you want to do, and accomplishing or getting things done that may drain your cup to differing degrees. And keeping this balancing act in mind will help you avoid trying to operate when the gas tank is on E. And the way that I end my day has to prepare me for the way that I start my day. So just like I start my day on one end of that have to do, want to do spectrum, I try to end my day on the other end. I've made it a point of emphasis to put work away at 7 to 8 p.m. and spend the evenings focused on family time, which usually involves Netflix, Hulu, or throwing Blaze's toys around until he's tired and ready for bed. And then I'm in bed, again by 9 or 10 p.m. so I can still get those 7 hours of sleep. So you can see how it's possible to be a medical student and still have a life. You can work hard to become a great doctor while staying happy and appreciating life outside of school. But I have to mention two key things that are critical in being able to manage your day like this on a consistent basis. The first is incorporating what I like to call time for your transition. This is referring to the time in between the things that you have going on. So in my case, that could be studying and working on a YouTube video. After 6 hours of studying, there is absolutely no way I'm going to hop right over and start making a YouTube video. In the long term, making that YouTube video will re-energize me, but oftentimes something has to first get me over that hump. It's like an action potential. In physiology, an action potential is essentially a burst of electrical activity. This is that burst of energy that we're looking for that fills our cup. But that action potential won't fire until a threshold is reached. I found that I have to find something that helps me reach this threshold before I'm able to transition between what I'm doing. For me, spending 10 to 15 minutes meditating, working out for half an hour, or even just grabbing something to eat, a cup of coffee, and giving myself 30 minutes to scroll through Instagram until the caffeine kicks in. But I'm setting aside time for this transition, and this actually gives me enough time to become excited about what I'm transitioning to, which makes me enjoy whatever I'm transitioning to even more. Now, the second critical thing to consider when managing your time, especially as a student, is efficient studying. If you are not utilizing efficient study strategies, it may take you 10+ hours to learn something that you could have learned in 6. And then the time spent being drained is lengthened and the time filling your cup is shortened. This is how you can start operating on E, which will ultimately lead to burnout. And this brings me to the sponsor of today's video, one of the most effective and efficient study strategies, especially for anatomy, which many of you know is one of the most time-consuming courses in medical school, and that is KinHub. KinHub is an online interactive platform for learning anatomy, histology, and even some radiology. So let's head to the iPad so I can show you guys this resource. So this is KinHub, and again, you can see it's broken down into anatomy, histology, and then that radiology component, the medical imaging. What's really nice is that they have specific study units that will likely correspond to the study units that you'll be taking, whether that's in anatomy or histology. So for an example, I want to walk you through one. If we go back to anatomy, and let's say that I am in the upper limb, and I am currently studying the wrist and the hand. You can see that they're broken down into subcategories that may also be subcategories in your class. For the sake of this video, let's look at the bones of the wrist and the hand. So what's really nice is that they have various different mediums for you to learn based on whatever learning technique is best for you, most efficient for you. So you can see they have amazing videos, which I'm gonna get to in a second, but they also have things like an atlas gallery and even articles for you to skim through. And they even have, again, like you can see right here, a summary of just key points related to this if you just need to go back to it and have a quick summary. I wanna show you guys just how incredible these videos are.
You already know that you use your hands for a lot of different activities, like writing, communicating, and of course, dissecting. And if you've been using our website, you may even be familiar with the muscles, nerves, and arteries that are involved in helping you perform each of these actions. But for this tutorial, we're going to be diving a little deeper. As deep as you can go, in fact. Join me as we venture past all the muscles and neurovasculature as we explore the bones of the hand.
And so you can see just top tier quality animated videos for anatomy. And again, they have it for histology and medical imaging even. And for me, these type of videos are the most engaging and I learn best from them. And simply by going through these videos and making sure that you have a good understanding of those high yield points presented in that summary slide, you're gonna be in great shape for anatomy. But to actually make sure that you do understand the information, they also have corresponding practice questions which are incredible. In each chapter, you can see that they have a quiz corresponding to that subject. So if I click Start Quiz, you can see that they actually have different quiz types, as well as an intelligent mix of the different quiz types, and even exam questions, this question bank, which will probably be more similar to what you can expect in your course. For example, let's just go ahead and do the question bank questions. And so you can see it's presenting me with 39 questions. First question is, which bone is located between the triquetral bone and the scaphoid bone? And I know that that is gonna be the lunate bone. I'm gonna click that, I'm gonna check my answer, I get it correct, and I can continue to move through this quiz. So you can see how a resource like KinHub can make studying extremely efficient, especially for those courses that take up a ton of time, like anatomy and histology, freeing up more time for things that fill your cup. If you are interested in KinHub, make sure you check out the link in the description below for a discount. But I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing and tapping that bell so you don't miss any future videos. The better we can manage our day, the more we'll accomplish and the happier we'll be along the way. But of course, until the next one, keep evolving, and I'll see you guys soon.